It's been over 3 decades since Under Siege exploded onto the screen with its high-octane action, unforgettable one-liners, and iconic performances. But what happened to the stars after the dust settled? From Steven Seagal's action hero fame to unexpected career turns and dramatic transformations, we're diving into how the cast of this 90s classic looks and lives in 2025. Some will surprise you, others you might not even recognize. Get ready for a nostalgic trip back in time, and a jaw-dropping look at the present. Let's see where they are now. Steven Seagal, who played Casey Ryback in Under Siege, was 40 years old when he embodied the calm yet deadly ex-Navy SEAL turned cook. His stoic demeanor and martial arts precision made Ryback an iconic action figure of the early 90s. While the film elevated Seagal to stardom, his career spiraled after a series of failed movies and off-screen controversies. He was married 4 times, most famously to actress Kelly LeBrock, with whom he had 3 children, Annalisa, Dominic, and Arissa. Their marriage was plagued by allegations of infidelity and abuse, leading to a bitter divorce. His relationships with his children have remained strained. Seagal faced multiple lawsuits, including accusations of sexual harassment and labor violations, which severely damaged his reputation. Financially, he suffered several losses from failed business ventures and extravagant spending. He relocated to Russia in the 2010s and was granted citizenship, further distancing himself from Hollywood. Now 73, Seagal lives reclusively and reportedly owns assets worth around $600,000, a sharp contrast to his peak wealth in the 1990s. His legacy remains polarizing, a martial arts legend with a deeply troubled personal and professional life. Tommy Lee Jones, who played the villainous William Stranix, was 46 when he brought to life the charismatic yet mentally unstable ex-CIA operative. Jones's portrayal was lauded for its theatrical flair and intense presence, cementing him as a powerful antagonist. Despite his continued acting success, Jones's personal life has been marked by emotional distance and discontent. He was married 3 times. His first 2 marriages ended in divorce, and his current marriage to photographer Dawn Laurel, while enduring, is said to be largely strained and disconnected. He has 2 children, Austin and Victoria, with whom he maintains an intermittent relationship due to his isolative nature. Known for his gruff demeanor on set, Jones has often alienated co-stars and directors. His relationship with fame has been one of reluctant necessity, and he's been accused of being controlling and difficult to work with. Though still active at 78, he rarely grants interviews or appears at public events. Estimated to be worth around $20 million, he leads a quiet life on his Texas ranch, seemingly at odds with both Hollywood and domestic happiness. Jones remains a respected but deeply private figure, whose success was often shadowed by personal dissatisfaction. Gary Busey, who played the unhinged Commander Krill, was 48 when he electrified Under Siege with his manic energy and unpredictable performance. While Busey had long been admired for his intensity, his life took a tragic turn after a near-fatal motorcycle accident in 1988. Leaving him with permanent brain damage that impacted his behavior and career. His role in Under Siege was a brief resurgence, but soon after, his erratic conduct led to professional decline. Busey married Tiani Warden in the late 1990s, but the relationship was fraught with substance abuse and volatility, ending in a bitter divorce. He has 3 children, including actor Jake Busey, though their relationship has been tumultuous. In later years, Busey faced eviction, bankruptcy, and public meltdowns. Multiple legal issues, including sexual misconduct allegations, tarnished his legacy further. Once worth millions, Busey filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy in 2012, claiming just $50,000 in assets against over $500,000 in debt. Now 80, he lives a modest life supported by reality TV appearances and fan conventions, grappling with health complications and isolation. Despite everything, he maintains a cult following for his chaotic charisma. Erika Eleniak, who portrayed Jordan Tate, the stranded Playboy model who proves her grit, was just 23 during Under Siege. Her fresh beauty and surprising strength made her a standout, but fame was a double-edged sword. After the film, Eleniak struggled to break free from typecasting, landing in B-movies and softcore thrillers that offered little career satisfaction. She married bodybuilder Philip Gavlia in 1998, but the marriage ended within a year due to incompatibility and reported emotional abuse. She later entered a long-term relationship with Rock Daigle, a key grip she met on a film set, and they had one daughter, Indiana, but the relationship dissolved under financial strain and conflicting ambitions. Eleniak has spoken publicly about her battles with eating disorders and depression. Although she tried to reinvent herself as a wellness coach, financial instability followed her. She filed for bankruptcy in the late 2000s and has lived in relative obscurity since. Now 55, she reportedly owns little more than a modest rental property in Calgary. Her estimated net worth is under $200,000. She continues to engage with fans through occasional appearances, but leads a quiet life far removed from her 90s stardom. Colm Meaney, who played Dahmer, one of the hardened mercenaries aboard the hijacked battleship, was 39 during Under Siege. Known for his gravel-voiced intensity and working-class authenticity, Meaney transitioned between villainous roles and deeply human characters. After Under Siege, he found moderate success in TV, most notably in Star Trek and various Irish dramas, but never achieved A-list fame. His personal life, however, was filled with turbulence. He was married to Irish actress Barbara Dowling, but their relationship collapsed under the weight of Meaney's prolonged absences and alleged infidelities. They had one daughter, Brenda, with whom he shares a complicated and often strained bond. Meaney remarried, but his second marriage to costume designer Ines Glorian, though more stable, has seen periods of separation. He has spoken about long battles with loneliness and regret over prioritizing his career. Financially, Meaney has done better than some of his co-stars, with an estimated net worth of $2.5 million, though much of it is tied up in Irish property that has fluctuated in value. Now 71, he lives part-time in Dublin, spending his days in solitude, reflecting on a career that never quite reached the heights it promised. Patrick O'Neill, who portrayed Captain Adams, the commanding officer aboard the USS Missouri in Under Siege, was 65 when he took on the role. His character was dignified, composed, and a stabilizing force among chaos, but tragically perished early in the film. A seasoned actor with decades of stage and screen work, O'Neill's career began to wane in the 1980s, leaving him in relative obscurity by the time he appeared in Under Siege. Off-screen, his life was marred by personal hardships. He was married to actress Cynthia Baxter. Their marriage lasted 23 years but was plagued by rumors of infidelity and emotional distance. They had 2 children, Thomas and Rachel, both of whom later described a distant relationship with their father. Following a series of health scares, including a minor stroke in 1992, his final years were spent in relative isolation in Manhattan, struggling with financial instability after poor investments. He passed away in 1994 from respiratory failure at age 66. Despite his earlier fame, O'Neill died nearly bankrupt, with an estate valued at only $70,000. His legacy was overshadowed by the melancholy of a career that never fully flourished and personal regrets he shared privately with friends during his final days. Troy Evans, who played the loyal and good-humored crew member Granger in Under Siege, was 44 at the time and brought a sense of grounded realism to the role. Known for his everyman appeal, Evans found steady work in character roles, though the post-Under Siege years were marked by frustration. Despite his consistent presence on television, he never landed a leading role, which took a toll on his confidence. He married stage manager Judy Reese in the mid-1980s, and while their bond was strong at first, the couple divorced in 2001 after years of conflict over his obsessive dedication to work. They had one son, Nathaniel, who later became estranged from his father. Evans struggled with alcohol abuse in the early 2000s, leading to a brief stay in rehab. His financial situation remained modest. He never accumulated wealth, with a current estimated net worth of $350,000. Now 77, he lives alone in a small home in Montana, largely retired but occasionally appearing in low-budget TV roles. He is known to keep to himself and has spoken in interviews about his regrets and missed opportunities in both career and family. David McKnight, who portrayed Flicker, a minor but memorable crew member in Under Siege, brought a youthful energy to the ensemble cast. Very little is known publicly about McKnight's life after the film, as he faded from the industry shortly after the film's release. It is believed that he struggled to find meaningful roles afterward and turned to local theater in his hometown of Cleveland to stay creatively fulfilled. He was briefly married to a teacher named Elena Ortiz in 1995, but the relationship ended within 2 years, reportedly due to financial stress and McKnight's growing battle with depression. They had no children. In 2003, he was reportedly hospitalized for mental health reasons and has since lived a reclusive life. Friends say he became disillusioned with Hollywood and now lives quietly in a subsidized apartment, largely off the grid. His whereabouts remain uncertain, but the last known update in 2017 listed him as unemployed and living on disability assistance. If still alive, McKnight would be 77 years old. His net worth has never been substantial, last estimated at under $10,000, and he remains a forgotten footnote in a once iconic action film. Bernie Casey, who portrayed the authoritative and steady Commander Harris in Under Siege, was 53 when he took the role. A former NFL player turned actor, Casey was known for exuding calm strength. His portrayal in the film was praised, but after the early 90s, his acting work slowed considerably. Despite some TV appearances, Casey became increasingly disillusioned with Hollywood. He never married but had a long-term partner, Sandra Dolores, with whom he had 2 children, sons Marcus and Jalen. Their relationship was tumultuous, marked by long separations and allegations of infidelity. Casey maintained a complicated relationship with his children, often estranged due to his reclusive tendencies. He turned to painting and poetry later in life, publishing a little-read collection of essays and artworks. He suffered a series of strokes in the 2010s and died in 2017 at age 78 from complications of a stroke. Despite his fame, Casey died with an estate valued at only $150,000. His final years were quiet, spent in a modest Los Angeles apartment, reportedly regretting the many missed connections in his personal life and the volatile nature of his fame. Glenn Morshower, who played the earnest young Ensign Taylor in Under Siege, was 33 when he took on the role. Known for his repeated casting as military figures, Morshower's performance carried a unique sincerity. While he continued to act steadily, including prominent roles in 24 and the Transformers franchise, he often expressed disappointment at being typecast. Privately, his life was marked by a deep personal tragedy. He married Carolyn Morshower in 1978, and they had 2 children, Haley and Parker. However, their son Parker died in 2011 at age 21 in a motorcycle accident, an event that left Morshower devastated. Though still married, the couple struggled immensely afterward, undergoing years of therapy and nearly divorcing in 2015. Morshower channeled his grief into motivational speaking, often discussing resilience and grief. Financially, he has done well, with an estimated net worth of $3 million, thanks to television royalties and speaking engagements. Now 66, he lives in Texas, balancing occasional film roles with speaking tours, but remains haunted by the loss of his son and the emotional distance it created in his family. Raymond Cruz, who portrayed the valiant sailor Ramirez in Under Siege, 1992, was 31 at the time and brought a quiet intensity to the role that foreshadowed his later performance as Tuco Salamanca in Breaking Bad. Known for his brooding, volatile characters, Cruz's career saw a series of intense, gritty roles, but his life behind the camera was far more tumultuous. Though he found continued success in television, Cruz struggled with loneliness and depression, especially after the death of his longtime partner, makeup artist Valerie Reyes, in 2008. They had one daughter, Elena, who became estranged during Cruz's darker years marked by substance use and isolation. His attempts at reconciliation have largely failed. Cruise never remarried and has no other children. He admitted in interviews to long periods of self-imposed solitude, estrangement from extended family, and anxiety over aging in a youth-obsessed industry. Currently 63, he lives alone in a modest apartment in Glendale, California. His net worth estimated around $400,000, much diminished from his prime due to mismanagement and supporting estranged relatives. Despite sporadic acting appearances, Cruise remains a figure haunted by the ghosts of broken relationships and fading fame. Duane Davis, who took on the role of Johnson, a loyal and physically imposing crew member in Under Siege, was 26 when the film premiered. Known for his athleticism and presence, Davis brought depth to a minor role, but the spotlight quickly faded. Despite brief success in sports-themed films during the 1990s, Davis's acting career declined sharply by the 2000s. He married Cassandra Reed, a fellow former athlete, in 1997. The couple had 2 sons, Malik and DeAndre, both of whom distanced themselves from their father after years of emotional volatility and prolonged financial hardship. Davis's post-Hollywood life has been marred by 3 failed business ventures, including a fitness center that closed due to bankruptcy in 2012. His marriage ended bitterly in 2014 amid allegations of infidelity and neglect. Now 59, Davis lives in a small apartment in Sacramento and works part-time as a sports coach at a local high school. He battles with chronic pain from past injuries, depression, and estrangement from friends and family. His estimated net worth is just under $50,000, a far cry from the promise of his youth. Once considered a rising star, Davis is now largely forgotten in Hollywood circles. George Chung, who portrayed one of the cold-blooded commandos in Under Siege, was 43 at the time of filming. Known throughout his career for playing villains, Chung's menacing screen presence contrasted sharply with the quiet man off-camera. His acting trajectory remained steady through the 1980s and 1990s, yet he was often typecast, leading to frustration and creative burnout. Chung married Chinese-American actress Mei Lin in 1980. They had 3 children, Daniel, Grace, and Olivia, but the family struggled due to George's frequent absences and the pressures of being a minority actor in a white-dominated industry. After a series of disagreements, Mei Lin left him in 2002, taking the children with her. Chung never fully recovered from the collapse of his family, and gradually retreated from the spotlight. Semi-retired at 76, he now lives in a quiet suburb of Los Angeles, rarely seen in public. His last known role was a minor voice part in an animated series. His health is declining, and he's battled diabetes and vision problems. Estimated to be worth around $150,000, Chung lives modestly, relying on union pensions and occasional autograph events. Forgotten by many, he remains quietly resentful of the roles that once made him famous but boxed him in. Tom Wood, who played the naive and youthful Private Nash in Under Siege, was only 29 at the time and brought a boyish sincerity to the role that made his character's vulnerability palpable. Though Wood appeared in several prominent films during the early 90s, including The Fugitive, his career plummeted after 1997, when he left acting following a nervous breakdown exacerbated by untreated bipolar disorder. He married costume designer Linda Merrill in 1995, but the couple divorced 5 years later after a miscarriage, and Wood's growing mental instability strained the relationship beyond repair. He has no children and lives a reclusive life in rural Montana, rarely seen by neighbors. At 61, Wood is reported to suffer from agoraphobia and has not acted professionally in over 2 decades. His only income comes from small residuals and disability support. He once owned a cabin and some land, but legal troubles and mounting medical debt forced him to sell most of his property. His estimated net worth is below $30,000. Friends describe him as a kind but broken man who once had everything in front of him, only to lose it all to silence, solitude, and mental illness. Who is your favorite character from Under Siege? How does it feel knowing that some of the actors are no longer with us? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this type of content, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on future uploads. Thank you for your support.